Yeah, he hasn't been prolific enough. Todd Cantwell, Drimmick, Adam Ider, these players have been brilliant, but not good enough. Like they were in the Championship, those players apart from Drimmick were prolific, but they couldn't carry on that form from the Championship to the Premier League. But the question is this: do I feel like Norwich will get back up to the Premier League? No, and I'll tell you why. This momentum has been treacherous for the last 10 games. Today, they lost 5-0 against Man City, an absolute whippage of carnage. I just feel like they'll lose a lot of their players. I think Pookie may stay, Cantwell will go, Jamal Lewis, Max Aarons, the left back and right back will definitely leave. The underrated Tim Krul will leave as well. I just feel like they'll lose a lot of their key players this season, and they won't be able to, grasp to the format of the Championship. But let's move into Watford. Let's move into Watford. Now, Watford are a club known as the Hornets. They were founded in 1889, with their history going way back. They play at Vicarage Road with a 21,577 capacity, and they are managed now by the interim manager Hayden Mullins, succeeding the Nigel Pearson, who beat Liverpool 3-0 with his side, and Javi Garcia, who was the manager at the start of the season. Now, I just want to highlight their golden era, the 1977 to 87 era. They had the likes of John Barnes and the manager Graham Taylor, winning them some mad titles. They got to 2 FA Cup finals, 83 and 84. They got second in the first division, 82 to 83 season. Graham Taylor pioneered Watford from being at the 4th division, the back end of League 2, about nowadays, all the way to the top. I just want to say, this club is mad. It's mad. They have been in the 4th division. They won the 4th division in the 77-78 season. They came second in the 3rd division, 78-79 season, but they still went up. And in the 2nd division, they were playoff winners in the 05-06 and runners-up in 2014-15 and 2012-13. No, they won. They got runners-up as in 2nd place, runners-up as in the playoff final, 2012-13. What happened in that season though? One man. Deeney! Troy Deeney, last kick of the game from Mark Almunia, the Capitano, saving it from Knockaert. Knockaert had a penalty, straight at him, double save, down the field, Deeney, bosh. Although that happened 2-1 against Leicester, they lost the final to Crystal Palace. Now the form this season has been horrible. In the first 10 games, they didn't even win a game. They drawed 4 and they lost 6, including an absolute rout against Man City, 8-0, only a few months prior losing 6-0 in the final of the FA Cup. That's mad. You look at the signings they brought in. They brought in some very good signings. I can highlight one for you right now. Ismaïla Sarr, right winger from Stade Rennais in France. The Senegalese right winger has been on form this season with 6 goals and 4 assists, including an absolute performance against Liverpool in the 3-0 victory. Although they brought in Danny Welbeck, although he scored that blistering overhead kick, he hasn't been good enough. With an ageing Craig Dawson coming in for a free transfer and Inacio Posetto coming from Udinese for £8 million. Now this club has a link to Udinese because of the chairman Pozzo, who owns Udinese and Granada. They sold 3 of the 4 key players last season to the club: Marvin Ziegler, the left back, Sebastian Prodl, the Austrian centre back, and Stefano Akaka, the Italian striker. But I feel like one low-key signing they got away. They sold Dodi Lukebakio. He has been ripping up in Germany for Hertha Berlin, and I feel like if he stayed at Watford this season, he would have been prolific. I just want to highlight Deeney's 10 goals and 2 assists, and Gerard Deulofeu's 4 goals, 5 assists. But the question is, do I think Watford will stay up next season? Of course they will. Will they come back up? No, I don't think they will, because of this reason. They have got players of quality who will leave, like Gerard Deulofeu, Ismail Assar, Abdoulaye Doucouré, Nathan Chalobah, Tom Cleverley. But I feel like they will not bring in a sufficient amount of replacements. And also, I feel like Deeney is aging now. He can still bang him in, but I don't think he will. I feel like they'll just miss out on the playoffs, but hopefully we see Watford back soon. Let's move on to the sadness of this video, AFC Bournemouth. Duron will be crying as AFC Bournemouth have been relegated. This club, Bournemouth, has the smallest stadium in the Premier League, only capacitating 11,364 people. Known as Dean Court, it's known as the Vitality Stadium. The Cherries, as Bournemouth, they were founded in 1899. This club goes way back to a lot of turmoil and a lot of triumph. Managed by the manager Eddie Howe, ex-player and now manager, absolute legend of a man. Hopefully he can stay at the club because he's a good manager, do not get me wrong. Now if you have a look at trophies, they won the championship in the 2014-15 season, having Watford being runners-up. They were Division 3 champions in the 86-87 season, runners-up in the 48-48 season and 2012-13 season. That's the League One. If you have a look at other trophies, the Football League trophy they won in the 83-84 and runners-up in the 97-98. The trophies haven't been prolific enough, but their history has been. They were known as Bournemouth and Boscombe United in 1923, and they changed their name to AFC Bournemouth in 1971. The most highlight of this club, the biggest history they had, was Harry Redknapp's men in the 1984 FA Cup match. They beat Manchester United, the holders. But I just want to highlight the Great Escape, that Great Escape where on February 2008 they had to file for administration. Them and Rochdale in the League Two had to show they could stay up through fixtures, and they were faced a 17-point deduction, making survival very impossible. But on the last game of the season, 10 minutes to go, 1-1 against Grimsby Town, the man, the myth, the legend, Steve Fletcher, 81st minute, edge of the box, goal, 2-1. Bournemouth stayed up. They beat the odds with 17-point deduction. They did it. And I feel bad for their club because they've been through a lot. And that sparked the categoric rise from 2009 to 2015, taking 6 seasons to get them to the Premier League, which is unbelievable. Now, this season in the Premier League, their first 10 games have been 3 wins, 3 draws, 4 losses. This is typical Bournemouth mid-table form. But what went wrong for Bournemouth? I can tell you. Their lack of void for Tyrone Mings. Tyrone Mings was a versatile centre-back and left-back. They sold it to Aston Villa, the newly promoted side, for 20 million, big ones. They brought in Lloyd Kelly from Bristol City, a young left-back, 20 years old, 13 million. They brought in Jack Stacey, right-back from Luton, the promoted to the Championship, for 4 million. They brought in Philip Billing from the relegated Huddersfield on an undisclosed fee, and they brought in a abysmal signing, Arnaud Danjuma from, I can't remember the team, 13.7 million. They spent 30.7 million and they had just nothing in the tank. I want to highlight the informed Dominic Solanke they brought in for £20 million last season, 4 goals, 1 assist since the lockdown resuming. Callum Wilson, 9 goals, 1 assist. Harry Wilson, 7 goals, 0 assists. Baloney from Liverpool. And Josh King, the injury woeful. Unluckily, he's came back, but his form has been too late with 6 goals and 4 assists. But their game today, they showed that they could have stayed up. They beat Everton away from home 3-1 with goals from Josh King, Junior Stanislas and Dominic Solanke, although Aston Villa drawed 1-1 with West Ham United away from home with a goal from Jack Grealish and then a minute later Andriy Yarmolenko from West Ham United. Now this club, I feel like they're going to go back down to the Championship first time in 5 years. Do I feel like they'll get promoted back up? Now, I don't think they'll get the guaranteed spots, but I think playoff is very possible. They're going to lose players like Nathan Ake, centre-back, he's been linked to Man City. They're going to lose Callum Wilson. Ryan Fraser has left the club on a free because he's been released. Well, not released, he's end of contract. Harry Wilson's going back to Liverpool. He won't sign next season. Dominic Solanke will leave. But if they can keep on to the likes of David Brooks, Jordan Ives, Stephen Cook, Charlie Daniels and Harry Arter, I feel like this club could get playoffs and possibly be on the return to the Premier League. But hopefully these three clubs can return someday. But this has been my view on the relegated sides. Some facts for you. My view on, I feel like Bournemouth should not be relegated. Their form has been brilliant, but wasn't good enough. But hope you liked the video. You know, like, subscribe, and yes, I'll be back with another video tomorrow for you. Big love and all the best. Much love, much love.